My parents didn't forget my graduation gift. They priced it. The envelope was drugstore thin, no weight to it. Inside, a Hallmark card $3.99 sticker still on the back. Figure it out, in Mom's handwriting. No signature, no check. Across the aisle, my brother turned his wrist, showing off his Rolex Submariner to our grandparents. $9,000 in steel and sapphire crystal catching auditorium lights. 2 hours later, I stood in the parking lot, card still in my pocket, 47 relatives streaming past. My brother's watch gleamed in every family photo. My card stayed in my pocket. His girlfriend posted the Rolex unboxing video. 89,000 views by evening. Every person who'd told me they love you both equally saw the $8,997 difference on their phones. The MIT acceptance email arrived at 6:47 a.m. on an April morning that tasted like victory. I was awake already. I'd been awake since 4:30, refreshing my inbox every 11 minutes, like a lab experiment in obsession. When the notification finally lit up my cracked phone screen, my hands shook so badly I had to read the subject line 3 times. Congratulations from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I screamed. My roommate Jenny threw a pillow at the wall we shared, but I didn't care. I'd done it. 4 years of 4 gigapascals maintenance, 3 years of science Olympiad medals, 2 summers of unpaid research internships, and 1 brutally honest personal essay about growing up as the invisible child. It had all counted. The letter detailed everything in clean, official language. Full acceptance to the biological engineering program. Merit scholarship of $22,000 annually. Financial aid package pending my FAFSA submission. An invitation to campus preview weekend in 2 weeks. I read it 7 times before I let myself believe it was real. Then I called my parents. Dad answered on the 4th ring. I heard the TV in the background, some morning news program he always watched with his coffee. Natalie? It's not even 7. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. My voice cracked with joy. Dad, I got in. MIT accepted me. With a scholarship. Silence stretched for 3 seconds. Oh, he said. That's good, honey. Your mother's still sleeping. I'll tell her when she wakes up. I waited for more. Congratulations. We're proud of you. We knew you could do it. It's a $22,000 scholarship. I pressed. That's half the tuition. And they said, That's great, Nat. Really. Listen, I should probably get ready for work. We'll talk about it later, okay? The line went dead before I could respond. I stood in my bedroom holding my phone, staring at the acceptance email still glowing on the screen. The joy that had filled my chest 30 seconds ago was leaking out through a hole I couldn't name. Maybe he was just surprised. Maybe it was too early for him to process good news. Maybe I'd catch them at a better time. I tried Mom's cell at 8:15, straight to voicemail. I tried the house phone at noon. No answer. At 2:30 p.m., my phone finally buzzed with a text from Mom. Saw you called. Busy day. Derek has news too. Call tonight. Derek. My brother. 3 years younger, currently finishing his first year at community college. I called that night at 7. Mom answered immediately, her voice bright with an energy that hadn't been there for my news. Natalie! Oh, honey. We have the most wonderful announcement. Derek got accepted to state. Can you believe it? We're so proud. He was so worried after that rough semester, but they're giving him a fresh start. We're taking him to dinner tomorrow to celebrate. Can you drive home this weekend? We'll do a family thing. I opened my mouth, closed it, opened it again. I got into MIT, I said quietly. Oh, right. Dad mentioned that. That's wonderful, sweetie. MIT is very academic. You'll do great there. Now, about this weekend, Derek really wants you there. You know how much he looks up to you. Academic. Like it was a personality trait instead of an achievement. I can't come home, I said. I have finals. Well, maybe in a few weeks then. We'll celebrate both of you together. Oh, Derek just walked in, I should go. Love you. She hung up before I could say it back. I sat on my bed with my phone in my lap, watching the sun set through my dorm window. Down the hall, someone was blasting music. A group of girls laughed about something I couldn't hear. The world continued like nothing had shifted. But something had. I pulled out my laptop and opened an old photo album, digital memories from a childhood that felt further away than 4 years. There was one from elementary school, third grade science fair. I stood next to my volcano project, holding a second-place ribbon, grinning at the camera with two missing teeth. Mom and Dad weren't in the frame. They'd left before awards were announced because Derek had a soccer game across town. Another photo. My 8th grade graduation. I wore a white dress Mom bought at a thrift store for $12. Derek wore a new suit for his 5th grade moving up ceremony the same week. Cost $140. I knew, because I'd found the receipt. High school. My acceptance to the State Science Academy, full scholarship. Derek's travel baseball team, that cost $3,000 a season. Both happened the same month. Guess which one got the celebration dinner? I'd told myself for years it didn't mean anything. Parents couldn't be everywhere. Money was tight. Derek needed more support because he struggled academically. I was independent, self-sufficient. I didn't need the same attention. But sitting there with an MIT acceptance letter on my screen and a 2-minute phone call as my congratulations, a truth I'd been avoiding for 18 years, finally landed with weight I couldn't ignore. They'd never promised to be there equally. They'd just promised to be there. I was 10 the first time Dad said it. We were in the car after another forgotten recital, another empty seat in the audience. I'd cried the whole drive home. He pulled into the driveway, turned to face me in the back seat, and said, "Natalie, I promise when it really matters, when you do something big, we'll be there. We'll always be there when you succeed." I'd believed him. I'd structured my entire life around eventually being worth their attention. Straight A's weren't enough, so I did extracurriculars. Leadership positions weren't enough, so I did research. State awards weren't enough, so I aimed for national recognition. And when national recognition wasn't enough, I'd aimed for MIT. The best school in the world for what I wanted to study. The kind of acceptance that made local newspapers and school announcements. The kind of achievement that should have made me impossible to ignore. And my father had said, "That's good, honey," like I'd told him about a B+ on a quiz. I closed the photo album. I didn't delete it, I'm not sure why. Maybe I needed the evidence. Maybe I was already building a case I didn't know I'd have to make. The next week, Derek's acceptance to state dominated every family phone call. Mom created a Facebook post with 12 photos of him, captioned, "So proud of our college boy." I wasn't tagged. I wasn't mentioned. The post got 147 likes. My MIT acceptance didn't get a post. It got a comment on a distant aunt's "Congrats to all the 2024 grads" status. Natalie got into a school in Boston. A school in Boston. I took a screenshot of that too. My family operated on a simple economy I'd spent 18 years trying not to calculate. Richard and Susan Chen. 2 parents, 2 children. Derek arrived 3 years after me. Unplanned but celebrated. The golden surprise. The son they'd hoped for. I became the responsible one by default, the good daughter who didn't need reminders to do homework or wake up on time or remember to call on birthdays. Being easy to parent meant being easy to forget. The pattern started small. Birthday parties. Mine at the house with grocery store cake. Derek's at the entertainment complex with 20 friends. Explanation. Boys need socialization more. Christmas. My gifts totaled around $150. His around $400. Explanation. You're more mature. You don't need as many toys. School supplies. Mine from the bargain bin, his name brand. Explanation. You're harder on your things. These will last. Every discrepancy came with a reason that sounded almost logical if you didn't look too close. By middle school, the gap widened. Derek wanted a gaming PC for his 12th birthday, top of the line, custom built, $1,800. Dad spent 3 weeks researching graphics cards and processors. They built it together in the garage, a father-son bonding project documented in 17 photos. I wanted a laptop for my 13th birthday. Mine had finally died, 7 years old and held together with duct tape. I'd been sharing Jenny's for homework. Mom took me to a thrift store. We found a refurbished Dell from 2009 for $85. It works perfectly fine, she said. You just need it for typing papers, right? I used that laptop for 4 years. It crashed twice a month. I learned to save my work every 3 minutes. Derek's gaming PC got upgraded sophomore year. Another $600 in parts. High school amplified everything. Derek played soccer travel team, private coaching, summer camps. Cost per year, approximately $5,000. I did Science Olympiad, which cost $150 in dues, and whatever I could afford for project materials. I worked at the library for $8 an hour to cover it myself. Soccer is expensive, Dad explained when I asked why my robotics club fee request got denied. We're stretched thin. You understand, right? I did understand. I understood that Derek's interests cost money, and mine cost nothing, because I made them cost nothing. Derek got his driver's license at 16. Dad co-signed for a used Honda Civic $8,500, paid over 2 years. Insurance, added to the family plan. Gas money, $40 a week allowance. I got my license at 16. I saved for 9 months working library shifts and bought a 2004 Honda with 167,000 miles on it for $1,200. It smelled like cigarettes and burned oil. Insurance. I paid it myself. Gas money. I budgeted $25 a week and didn't drive unless necessary. You're so responsible, Mom said when I showed her the car. We're lucky you don't need our help like your brother does. Need. Like, Derek's dependence was biological and my independence was a choice. Senior year, Derek applied to 3 colleges. All his application fees, paid by Dad. Campus visit to state. Family road trip. Hotel included. His college decision. A family meeting where everyone weighed in. I applied to 14 schools. Application fees totaled $980. I paid every one from my library paychecks. Campus visits. I took a Greyhound bus to the 3 that offered fee waivers for low-income students. My college decision. Made alone in my bedroom at 11 p.m., weighing financial aid packages on a spreadsheet I built myself. MIT was the dream. Full ride was the goal. I got close. $22,000 merit scholarship. $18,000 in grants. $8,000 work study. That left $41,000 a year in tuition, fees, and living expenses. I called home with the financial aid breakdown, hoping that 2 parents who'd spent $5,000 a year on soccer might see their way to helping with the school that could change my life. Dad listened to my pitch. I'd rehearsed it for an hour. Nat, that's a lot of money, he said finally. We can't afford that. You'll have to take loans. But Derek's tuition at state is $4,800 a year, and he's living at home. Completely different situation. You're choosing an expensive school. That's your choice. Choosing. Like I'd picked MIT out of arrogance instead of out of years of work that finally paid off. I took out $89,000 in loans. Federal and private. Interest rates I didn't fully understand, but signed anyway because the alternative was not going. Derek went to state. Tuition. $4,800. He lasted 1 semester. 4 months. Failed 3 classes. Stopped going to the 4th. Came home in December and announced he was taking a break to figure things out. Mom hugged him. College isn't for everyone, honey. You'll find your path. Dad nodded. No pressure. Stay home as long as you need. No one mentioned the $4,800. No one suggested he pay it back. No one seemed to consider it a loss. I came home for winter break 2 weeks later, exhausted from finals and my 25-hour-a-week campus job. I'd lost 8 pounds from skipping meals to save money. I had stress hives on my neck. "You look tired," Mom said. "College must be hard." Derek was on the couch playing video games on the $1,800 PC. Unemployed, unenrolled, unbothered. I went back to school 3 days early. I told them I had work shifts. Really, I just couldn't watch the way they moved around him like he was fragile while I'd been expected to be stone. Sophomore year, Derek decided he wanted to learn motorcycle repair. Dad co-signed a loan for an $8,200 Yamaha for practice. Derek wrecked it in 6 weeks, totaled. Insurance didn't cover it because he'd lied about his experience level. Dad paid off the loan himself. "Mistakes happen," he said. "He's learning." Junior year, I had an emergency. My laptop, the thrift store Dell, finally died permanently. I had 3 papers due and a lab report. I called home, desperate, asking if they could help with $200 toward a replacement. "Money's really tight right now, Nat," Mom said. "Can you use the library computers?" I did. I spent 12-hour days in the library because I had nowhere else to work. I saw the charge on Dad's credit card 2 weeks later when I was home for Thanksgiving. $2,400 to a jeweler. Derek's girlfriend's birthday present. A bracelet. I didn't ask about it. I'd learned by then that asking meant hearing explanations that made me feel crazy for noticing. My senior year, I made Dean's List 3 semesters in a row. I got early acceptance to a graduate program with full funding. I won a research award that came with $1,000 and my name in the university newsletter. I called home after each one. The responses were identical. "That's great, honey. Hey, did we tell you Derek's thinking about going back to school?" Derek had been thinking about it for 2 years. He never did go back. But the possibility of his return got more attention than my certainty of success. Graduation approached. I ordered my cap and gown in February. I sent the ceremony details to my parents in March. Date, time, location, parking instructions. I called in April to confirm they'd received it. "We got it," Dad said. "We'll be there." I believed him. The 10-year-old in me who'd cried in the back seat still believed that when it really mattered, they'd show up. MIT graduation mattered. It was the culmination of 4 years of impossible work. It was proof that the loans, the exhaustion, the loneliness had been worth something. It was the moment I'd been working toward since I was small enough to think perfect grades would make me visible. They confirmed 3 more times. Once in early May, once the week before, once 2 days prior. "We'll be there, Natalie. We wouldn't miss it." I bought them good seats. Section A, row 3. I paid the $15 fee to reserve them because general admission meant bad views. I wanted them to see me clearly. I wanted them to finally see me. Graduation morning arrived with the kind of weather that felt like a sign. Clear sky, soft breeze, temperature perfect at 68 degrees. I woke up at 6:15 a.m. in my apartment, too excited to sleep longer. My crimson gown hung on the closet door. I'd steamed it the night before. My cap sat on the desk, tassel positioned carefully on the right side, ready to flip to the left when they called my name. 4 years of survival sewn into polyester fabric. I did my makeup carefully. Not too much, I'd cry. I knew I'd cry, but enough to look polished in photos. Photos my parents would finally take of me. Photos where they'd stand on either side, arms around me, proud. At 6:47 a.m., my phone buzzed. "Mom, running a little late. Save us seats. See you soon." A little late. Fine. Expected, even. They had a 2-hour drive. Traffic happened. I texted back. "Section A, row 3, seats 14 and 15. Can't wait to see you." She hearted the message. I took that as confirmation. The ceremony started at 10 a.m. I arrived at Kresge Auditorium at 8:30 to check in, get my program, and place the reservation cards on their seats. The building filled slowly, families carrying bouquets and balloons, graduates nervously adjusting their gowns, everyone buzzing with that electric pre-ceremony energy. I walked through the family section at 9:15. Seats 14 and 15. Row 3, Section A. Right up front. Perfect view of the stage. I set the reserved cards down and took a photo to text my parents the exact location. No response. At 9:40, I called. Straight to voicemail. At 9:50, families were being asked to sit. The reserved cards still sat on empty chairs. I told myself they were parking, finding the building, waiting in the lobby. At 9:58, the processional music started. Graduates began lining up. I had to join my row. I looked back at Section A. Row 3, one more time. Seats 14 and 15. Empty. Maybe they're running late, my friend Jordan whispered beside me in line. They'll sneak in. I nodded. I didn't believe it, but I nodded. We walked in to pomp and circumstance, the classic graduation march that always sounds triumphant until you're walking to it with nowhere to look. 312 graduates filled the stage seating. Behind us, the auditorium held capacity. 1,200 people. Families everywhere. Siblings, grandparents, parents with professional cameras. People crying before anything had even happened. I scanned Section A as I walked past. Seats 14 and 15. Empty. I sat in my assigned seat, third row of graduates, left side, perfect view of the family section, perfect view of the 2 empty seats with my reservation cards still visible on them. The ceremony began. Welcome speech, introduction of faculty, remarks from the dean. I heard none of it. I kept checking my phone under my gown, hidden in my lap. No texts, no calls, no we're here or parking now or sorry we're late. Nothing. The name reading began. Each graduate stood, walked across the stage, received their diploma cover, paused for a photo, returned to their seat. Families cheered, screaming, whistling, holding up signs with names glittered across poster board. Jordan's family had 11 people. They lost their minds when she crossed the stage. I smiled because I was supposed to. Natalie Marie Chen. I stood. My legs felt disconnected from my body. I walked up the stairs, across the stage, shook Dean Morrison's hand, took the empty diploma folder, smiled at the photographer. I didn't hear anyone cheer. Maybe someone did, maybe a friend or classmate, but I didn't hear it over the silence where my family should have been. I returned to my seat. Jordan squeezed my hand. The ceremony continued for another 40 minutes. I stared at seats 14 and 15 the entire time. Empty. When it ended, when we threw our caps and everyone hugged and the chaos of 1,200 people trying to find each other began, I stood in the aisle and checked my phone. One text. Sent at 9:20 a.m., 40 minutes before the ceremony. Mom. Something came up with Derek. Can't make it. So sorry, honey. We'll celebrate later. Congrats. I read it 4 times. Something came up. Can't make it. We'll celebrate later. Like it was a dentist appointment. Like it was movable. Like 4 years of work could be rescheduled. I stood there holding my phone while families swarmed around me. Jordan found me first. Nat? Where are they? I showed her the text. What the fuck? She whispered. I didn't cry. I couldn't. The tears were stuck somewhere behind a wall I didn't know how to break through yet. Come on, Jordan said. Photos with my family. You're not standing here alone. I took 17 photos with Jordan's family. Her mom hugged me so hard I felt my ribs compress. Her dad said, "We're proud of you, kid." Her little sister asked if she could hold my diploma folder. It was kind. It wasn't mine. At 12:30, Jordan's family left for their celebration lunch. I promised I'd call later. I walked to the parking lot alone, still in my gown because I didn't know where else to go. My phone buzzed. Dad. We're at Derek's thing. Running long. Did the ceremony go okay? Did the ceremony go okay? 4 years. $89,000 in loans. 25-hour work weeks. Nights I'd survived on granola bars and library coffee. A 3.9 gigapascals. Dean's List. Research awards. A degree from the best school in the world for what I wanted to do. Did it go okay? I didn't respond. Another buzz. A text thread I wasn't part of. Derek's girlfriend had tagged me in an Instagram story. I opened it. Video. Derek's hands, wrists extended toward the camera. On his left wrist, a Rolex Submariner, black face, steel band, catching the light as he turned it back and forth. Caption: grad gift from the parents. I watched it twice. Then I checked the timestamp. Posted at 10:47 a.m. during my ceremony. I scrolled back through Derek's profile. More photos from earlier that morning. Him opening a Tiffany blue box, face lit up with shock. Mom and Dad on either side of him, grinning. The watch on his wrist, grandparents in the background, clapping. A whole family gathering, the thing they couldn't miss, the something that came up. Derek's graduation gift ceremony. For a degree he didn't earn, at a school he dropped out of 3 years ago. I stood in the parking lot, 47 relatives streaming past me to their cars, and opened my purse. Inside, the card they'd left on my apartment doorstep sometime that morning. Thin drugstore envelope, corners already bent. I opened it. Hallmark card, generic design, flowers. Congratulations, graduate, in gold script, price sticker still on the back, $3.99. Inside, Mom's handwriting in blue pen. Figure it out. Proud of you. No signature, no check, no gift card, just those 4 words. Figure it out. I turned the card over like maybe there was more. There wasn't. Figure it out. I'd been figuring it out for 4 years. I'd figured out loans and budgets and how to sleep 4 hours a night and still ace organic chemistry. I'd figured out how to work 25 hours a week and carry 18 credits. I'd figured out how to survive on $30 a week for food. I'd figured out how to be invisible and still succeed. And my graduation gift, my only graduation gift, was a $3.99 card telling me to keep doing it. I looked at my phone again. The Instagram video was still playing on loop. Derek's wrist, the Rolex. Steel and sapphire crystal catching auditorium lights from whatever venue they'd rented for his fake graduation party. I took a screenshot. Then I Googled Rolex Submariner price. $9,147.50. I did the math in my head, standing there in my crimson gown in a parking lot that was emptying fast. Derek's gift, $9,147.50. My gift, $3.99. Difference, $9,143.51. But it wasn't about the money. It had never been about the money. It was about the choice. The decision to spend 3 hours at Derek's fake celebration instead of 2 hours at my real one. The decision to buy a Rolex 6 weeks in advance. I checked the receipt photo Derek's girlfriend had posted, timestamp March 15th, the same week I'd made Dean's List, and they'd canceled dinner because money was tight. It was about 4 years of this. 18 years of this. A lifetime of being told I was loved equally, while the receipts told a different story. I sat in my car, still in my graduation gown, and opened my banking app. Student loans. $89,000 at 6.8% interest. Monthly payment starting in 6 months, $1,024. I opened Instagram again. Derek's watch video had 1,340 views already. Comments rolling in. So lucky. Best parents ever. Goals. One placed ins not. I scrolled to the family photos. Mom and Dad on either side of Derek, arms around him, faces full of pride I'd never seen directed at me. I took screenshots of everything. I didn't know why yet. Instinct, maybe. Evidence. Then I opened my photos and found the ceremony picture Jordan's mom had taken. Me on stage, diploma in hand, smiling at a camera while my family sat 2 hours away putting a $9,000 watch on my brother's wrist. I looked at that photo for a long time. Then I drove back to my apartment, still wearing my gown, and started a new folder on my laptop. I named it Pattern. I didn't know what I was going to do with it yet. I just knew that 18 years of this had to mean something. Had to add up to something bigger than my confusion. Had to be provable. Because if I couldn't prove it, I'd spend the rest of my life wondering if I was the problem. If I was too sensitive. If I'd imagined the difference. But I hadn't imagined the empty chairs. I hadn't imagined the $3.99 card. I hadn't imagined the Rolex on Derek's wrist while I stood alone in a parking lot. That night, Derek's girlfriend posted the full unboxing video. Extended cut, 4 minutes long. Mom's voice in the background. We've been planning this for months. Only the best for our boy. The video got 89,000 views by midnight. Every person who'd ever told me they love you both equally could see the $8,997 difference on their phones. I watched it once. Then I downloaded it. Then I added it to the folder. Then I started planning. I didn't plan to investigate. That's what I tell myself now, looking back. I wasn't building a case. I was just trying to understand. The day after graduation, I woke up at 11 a.m., still wearing my cap. The tassel had left a crease on my cheek. My phone had 43 notifications, mostly congratulations from classmates and professors who didn't know my family hadn't come. I ignored all of them. Instead, I opened my laptop and stared at the pattern folder I'd created the night before. Inside, screenshots of Derek's Rolex video, the Instagram photos, the $3.99 card I'd photographed front and back. Evidence of what, exactly? I wasn't sure yet. My phone buzzed. Mom calling. I let it ring. She texted 3 minutes later. Tried calling. Hope ceremony was nice. Can we do dinner next week to celebrate? I read it 5 times. Each time, the word celebrate felt more like a slap. I didn't respond. Instead, I did something I can't fully explain. I zoomed in on one of Derek's Instagram photos. The one where Mom and Dad stood beside him, his hands extended to show off the watch. The image was clear enough to see details. The Rolex box on the table, Tiffany blue, distinctive. A white receipt partially visible underneath it. I zoomed closer. The photo quality pixelated, but I could make out a date in the top corner. March 15th. March 15th. I opened my email and searched Dean's List. The notification had come March 13th. I'd called my parents that night, excited, hoping they'd want to grab dinner that weekend to celebrate. Dad had said, "Money's really tight right now, Nat. Rain check?" 2 days later, they'd bought Derek a $9,000 watch. I sat back in my desk chair, staring at the screen. Tight money, rain check, a $9,000 watch. My brain did what it always did when something didn't make sense. It started organizing data. I opened a spreadsheet, old habit from managing my own finances for 4 years, and created columns. Date, event, amount, Derek or Natalie. I started filling it in from memory. March 15th. Derek's Rolex. $9,147.50. Derek. March 13th. My Dean's List notification. Dinner request denied. Money tight. Natalie, $0. I kept going, scrolling through my phone for timestamps and old texts. February 8th. Derek's girlfriend's birthday. I'd seen the credit card charge at Thanksgiving when I was home. $2,400 bracelet from a jeweler downtown. February 3rd. My laptop died. I'd called asking for help with $200 toward a replacement. Can't right now, honey. Use the library. I typed faster. January, December, November. My fingers moved across the keyboard like I was taking an exam I'd been preparing for my whole life without knowing it. The spreadsheet grew. 2 months of data. 6 months. A year. Every time I'd asked for help, denied, delayed, dismissed. Every time Derek had wanted something, delivered. But it was the March 15th receipt that I couldn't stop thinking about. Because March 15th wasn't just 2 days after my Dean's List call. It was 6 weeks before graduation. They'd planned Derek's gift 6 weeks in advance. They'd budgeted for it, shopped for it, purchased it with enough time to have it sized and ready. My graduation was on their calendar. They'd confirmed attendance 3 times. And they'd still chosen to spend graduation morning with Derek. I needed to see that receipt. The Instagram photo wasn't clear enough. I needed the real thing, the full document, proof of the date and the amount and the intent behind it. I opened Derek's Instagram again and scrolled through his girlfriend's account. She'd posted the unboxing video 4 minutes long, 89,000 views. I watched it again, this time not looking at the watch. I looked at the background. The setting. Our parents' dining room. I recognized the wallpaper, the chandelier Mom had bought at an estate sale 8 years ago. The table was covered with wrapping paper and gift bags. At the 2:47 timestamp, Dad leaned over to pick up the Rolex box. As he moved it, the receipt underneath shifted. I paused the video. Screenshot. Zoomed in. The receipt was visible for exactly 4 seconds before someone's hand covered it. But 4 seconds was enough. Boucherer watches and fine jewelry. Date: 3/15. Total: $9,147.50. Payment method: the last 4 digits were visible. 4,782. I knew those digits. I'd seen them on the family credit card my parents had added me as an authorized user on when I turned 16, for emergencies only. I'd used it twice in 6 years. Both times for car repairs I'd paid back within the month. The same card they'd said was maxed out when I'd asked for help with textbooks sophomore year. I logged into the credit card account. I still had access, they'd never removed me. The account homepage loaded. Current balance: $3,240. Available credit: $16,760. Maximum limit: $20,000. Not maxed out. Not even close. I clicked on Statements. March's statement downloaded as a PDF. I scrolled to March 15th. There it was. Boucherer watches and fine jewelry. $9,147.50. And above it, March 14th, Maggiano's Little Italy. $340.62. March 13th, Party City. $127.43. March 13th, Whole Foods. $286.19. They'd thrown him a party, a full celebration, catered food, decorations, cake probably, all while telling me money was tight. I scrolled further back. February 8th, K Jewelers, $2,387. Derek's girlfriend's bracelet. February 3rd, the day I'd called about my dying laptop. No charge for a laptop, but 6 charges at restaurants totaling $890 that week. I kept scrolling. January, December, November, October. The pattern wasn't subtle. It was documented, time-stamped, charged to a card I had access to. Every denial I'd received had happened within days of expensive purchases for Derek. I was shaking. My hands hovered over the keyboard, not sure what to do with this information. Then I remembered I'd asked for help with textbooks, sophomore year, fall semester, September. I opened the September statement from 2 years ago. September 18th, my call. The biology textbook is $340. Can you help with half? Dad's response: we're maxed out right now. Can you rent it? September 12th, 6 days earlier. Best Buy. $1,840. I clicked on the details memo. Gaming chair and monitor. Derek's setup upgrade. I'd seen it when I came home for Thanksgiving that year. My textbook. Denied. His gaming equipment? Delivered. I sat there staring at 2 years of credit card statements, and something inside me shifted. This wasn't about being less loved. This wasn't about different parenting styles or Derek needing more support. This was a choice, a pattern, a financial decision made over and over again for 18 years. I opened a new tab and Googled family financial favoritism, legal. I didn't know what I was looking for. I just knew that this, whatever this was, had to have a name. The search results loaded. Articles about estate planning, inheritance disputes, financial abuse within families, financial abuse. I clicked on the first link. The article defined it. Economic or financial abuse is a form of control where one party restricts another's access to financial resources while maintaining their own access. I read it 3 times. Then I saved it to the pattern folder. Then I downloaded every credit card statement from the past 4 years. Then I started building a real spreadsheet. Not just recent memory, everything. Because if I was going to understand this, I needed to see all of it. It took me 4 days to build the complete financial record. 4 days of cross-referencing credit card statements, bank records, old texts, and my own meticulously kept budget spreadsheets. 4 days of barely sleeping, barely eating, barely existing outside of this growing document that was starting to look less like a family history and more like evidence. Jordan came by on day 2. She took one look at me, laptop surrounded by printed statements, 3 empty coffee mugs, hair I hadn't washed, and said, "Nat, what are you doing?" "Counting," I said. "Counting what?" "Everything." I showed her the spreadsheet. It had grown to 247 rows. 18 years of financial decisions, color-coded. Blue for Derek. Red for me. Gray for family expenses that benefited both of us equally, rare enough that the spreadsheet looked like a sea of blue with occasional drops of red. Jordan sat down slowly. "Holy shit. I'm not done yet," I said. "I'm only back to my freshman year of high school. I need to go further." "Nat." They bought him a car, Jordan. They co-signed a $28,000 loan when he was 19. I had to save for 9 months to buy a $1,200 car with 167,000 miles on it. I know. Do you know how much they've spent on his soccer? Travel teams, equipment, private coaching. I calculated it. 5 years of club soccer cost them $47,000. Jordan stared at the screen. "And you?" "Science Olympiad was $150 a year. I paid it myself." I wasn't crying. I thought I might feel like crying when I saw the numbers laid out, but I didn't. I felt cold, analytical, like I was grading someone else's lab report and finding their methodology deeply flawed. "Keep going," Jordan said quietly. "I'll get you food." She left and came back with Thai takeout. I ate it without tasting it, one hand on the fork, one hand scrolling through my email archive. I found birthday card photos I'd saved over the years, mostly pictures I'd sent to friends with captions like, "Another year older." I zoomed in on the cards in the background. Derek's 16th birthday card, visible in a photo from that party at the entertainment complex. The card was open on the gift table. Inside, a check. I zoomed until the pixels blurred. $500. My 16th birthday card. I'd taken a photo of it because the front had a funny joke. Inside, $50. I added it to the spreadsheet. Derek's 18th birthday. I found the Facebook post Mom had made. "Our boy is a man now, so proud." The photo showed Derek holding a set of car keys, the Honda Civic. $8,500 purchase price, according to the auto loan documents I'd found in Dad's office once, when I was looking for a spare charger. My 18th birthday. I scrolled through my photos. There, a selfie at the library. Jordan had taken it. Caption: "Birthday shift because rent is due." I'd worked a double that day. 8 hours. $64 after taxes. No car. No keys. No Facebook post. I added it to the spreadsheet. The numbers started to take shape. Patterns within patterns. Every milestone, Derek got triple what I did. Every achievement, he got celebrated. Every failure, he got supported. Every time I succeeded, I got silence. Every time I struggled, I got advice to figure it out. By day 4, I had 18 years of data compiled. I sat back and looked at the summary tab I'd created. Total spent on Derek, documenta, $67,340. Birthday gifts, $8,400. Christmas gifts, $11,200. Car plus insurance, 3 years, $19,800. Soccer, 5 years, $23,100. Electronics, $3,200. Miscellaneous, $1,640. Total spent on Natalie, documenta, $4,180. Birthday gifts, $940. Christmas gifts, $1,680. Car plus insurance, $0 I paid. Extracurriculars, $0 I paid. Electronics, $85. Thrift store laptop. College textbook help, $0 denied. Emergency requests, $1,475. Car repairs, they did help with. Difference, $63,160. I stared at that number. $63,160. Over 18 years, they'd spent $63,160 more on Derek than on me. That didn't include college. Derek's 1 semester at community college, $4,800 they'd paid. My 4 years at MIT, $89,000 in loans I'd taken entirely alone. If I included college costs they'd covered. Derek, $4,800. Natalie, $0. The actual difference was $67,960. I felt something crack open in my chest. Not sadness, not even anger yet. Clarity. This wasn't in my head. This wasn't me being sensitive or jealous or dramatic. This was math. Clean, indisputable, documented math. I picked up my phone. My hands were shaking now, not from anxiety, from adrenaline. I took a screenshot of the summary tab and texted it to Jordan. She was in the kitchen making coffee. I heard her phone buzz. Then silence. Then footsteps. She appeared in the doorway holding her phone. Natalie. "It's real," I said. "It's not just me." "I know." Her voice was soft. "I believe you. I always believed you. But now I can prove it." Jordan came over and hugged me. I didn't cry. I just sat there feeling the weight of 18 years of confusion finally resolving into something solid. Something I could hold. Something I could show. When she pulled back, she looked at the screen again. "What are you going to do with this?" "I don't know yet," I said. But that was a lie. I did know. I was starting to know. I opened a new browser tab and searched. Family Financial Discrimination Lawyer. The number $31,400 appeared in my dreams that night. I don't know why that specific amount felt significant. It just did. It nagged at me, the way unsolved equations used to in high school, my brain turning it over and over, until I found the missing variable. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. with the memory surfacing like something pulled from deep water. I was 12 years old, maybe 13, summer afternoon. I'd been reading in the living room when my parents came home from the bank. They didn't see me curled up behind the couch. I'd built a fort with blankets because I was bored and our AC was broken. Dad's voice. "So that's $31,400 in Natalie's education fund now. And we'll start Derek's next month." Mom's voice. "It's good we started hers early. College is only getting more expensive." Dad, "By the time she's 18, this could be worth 60,000-70,000 with interest. She'll have options." I remembered feeling warm, safe. Like I'd discovered a secret that meant I mattered. I'd never asked about it directly. I was 12. I didn't know how money worked. I just knew that somewhere, there was an account with my name on it, and that meant college was possible. By the time I was 16 and starting to research colleges, I'd forgotten about the specifics. I just assumed they'd help when the time came. They hadn't. I sat up in bed at 4:30 a.m. and opened my laptop. If that account had existed when I was 12, 6 years before college, where did it go? I started searching through old documents. My parents had added me to several accounts over the years for emergency access: the credit card, the family checking account, a savings account for household expenses. I logged into the family checking account. It was mostly dormant now. They'd opened a new one a few years ago and kept this one open with a minimum balance. I rarely looked at it. I clicked on Account History and filtered for closed accounts. 2 results. Joint checking, current. Education savings, Natalie Chen. Closed 6/2021. My heart stopped. Closed June 2021. 4 years ago. Right before my junior year of college. I clicked on the account details. It took me to an archived statement page. I selected the final statement before closure. Date: the 18th of June, 2021. Closing balance: $31,447.82. Transaction history: the 18th of June, 2021. Transfer to joint checking, asterisk asterisk, 4,782, $31,447.82. The 18th of June, 2021. Account closure fee, $0. Final balance, $0. I read it 5 times. $31,447.82. Transferred out to the credit card ending in 4,782. The same credit card they'd used to buy Derek's Rolex. I opened a new tab and pulled up the credit card statement from June 2021. June 18th. Transfer from education savings, $31,447.82. Credit. June 20th. Balance payment, $28,940.15. They drained my college fund to pay off their credit card. I kept scrolling through June 2021's charges. June 3rd. Yamaha motorcycles, $8,200. Derek's bike. The one he'd wrecked 6 weeks later. I sat there in my bed at 4:37 a.m., staring at the screen, and something inside me snapped clean through. They'd taken my college fund money set aside since I was 3 years old. Money that was supposed to give me options, money they'd promised existed to support my education, and they'd used it to pay for Derek's motorcycle. And when that motorcycle got totaled, they'd paid off the loan themselves. Mistakes happen. He's learning. My education fund, $31,447.82, gone. Derek's totaled motorcycle, $8,200, forgiven. My student loans, $89,000. My responsibility alone. I opened my phone and called my bank. It was too early. The automated system told me to call back during business hours. I hung up and searched for the account opening documents. I found them in my email archive, a PDF from when I was 7 years old, scanned and sent by Dad for your records when you're older. I opened it. 529 Education Savings Plan. Beneficiary: Natalie Marie Chen. Custodian: Richard Chen. Opened 8/2003. Initial deposit, $5,000. Purpose: post-secondary education expenses. The terms were clear. The money was for me, for my education. Withdrawals for non-education expenses would incur penalties and taxes. But there was a clause. Custodian may transfer funds to another beneficiary within the family. I read that line 10 times. Another beneficiary: Derek. I went back to the credit card statements. June 2021, then July, August, September. September 14th, 2021. State University, $4,800. Derek's tuition. 1 semester. They'd transferred my education fund to pay off debt accumulated largely for Derek's lifestyle, and then used their freed-up cash flow to pay Derek's tuition. My money had paid for his college, the college he'd dropped out of after 4 months. I stood up. I paced. I sat down. I stood up again. My entire body felt like it was vibrating at a frequency only I could hear. I opened the spreadsheet and added a new tab. College fund theft. Not misuse. Not reallocation. Theft. Because that's what it was. Money earmarked for my education, taken without my knowledge or consent, used to fund the lifestyle of the child they'd always chosen over me. I documented everything. Account opening. August 2003. My age, 3 years old. Final balance, $31,447.82. Date closed, the 18th of June 2021. My age, 2-1 junior year of college, actively drowning in expenses. Transfer destination, credit card debt. Debt source. Primarily Derek's expenses. Immediate following expense. Derek's tuition, $4,800. I added a notes column. Was never informed account existed in recent years. Was never informed of closure. Was never asked for permission. Found out by accident 4 years later. Then I calculated what that money could have done. $31,447.82 applied to my student loans. Junior year would have reduced my total debt by 35%. My monthly payment would have dropped from $1,024 to $666. Over 10 years, I would have saved $47,000 in interest. They'd stolen $31,447.82 and cost me $47,000 in future interest. Total damage, $78,447.82. For Derek's motorcycle and 1 semester of college he'd failed out of. I took a screenshot of everything. I added it to the pattern folder, which was now 847 megabytes of documents, statements, and evidence. Then I did something I hadn't planned to do. I called a lawyer. It was 6:15 a.m. I didn't care. I left a voicemail at the first family law office that came up in my search. My name is Natalie Chen. My parents stole my college fund to pay for my brother's lifestyle. I have documentation. I need to know if I can sue them. Please call me back. I hung up and sat there shaking. Jordan emerged from her bedroom 20 minutes later. She took one look at my face and said, "What happened?" I turned my laptop around and showed her the account closure statement. "They took my college fund," I said. $31,000. They took it and gave it to Derek. Jordan read the screen. Then she sat down hard on the couch. "Natalie," she whispered. "That's not favoritism. That's fraud." "I know. You could actually sue them." "I know." She looked at me. "Are you going to?" I didn't answer right away. I thought about the empty chairs at graduation, the $3.99 card, the Rolex video with 89,000 views, the 18 years of being invisible, the $67,000 of documented difference, the $31,000 stolen from an account with my name on it. I thought about the text I'd gotten yesterday from Mom. Still want to do that celebration dinner? Like nothing had happened. Like they hadn't missed my graduation for Derek's fake party. Like they hadn't built my entire childhood on the foundation of me mattering less. "Yes," I said. "I'm going to sue them." Jordan nodded slowly. "Okay. Then let's do this right." She opened her laptop. "We're going to need more than spreadsheets. We need witnesses. We need people who saw this happening and can confirm it. Who's going to testify against my parents?" "You'd be surprised," Jordan said. "People notice more than you think. They just don't say anything until someone asks." She was right. I started making a list of people who'd witnessed the pattern over the years. Grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins, family friends, teachers who'd seen me working in the library while Derek got private tutors. The list grew to 23 names. 23 people who might be willing to tell the truth. By the time the lawyer's office called me back at 9 a.m., I had 900 pages of documentation ready to send. And I had a plan. Jordan and I met at the same coffee shop where we'd celebrated her thesis defense 3 months earlier. That day, we'd been carefree, laughing, planning summer trips we'd never take because I'd be working and she'd be job hunting. This day, I carried 900 pages of documentation in a leather folder that weighed more than the paper inside. She was already there when I arrived, corner booth by the window, 2 coffees on the table. She stood up when she saw me and hugged me hard enough that I felt my lungs compress. "How are you?" she asked when we sat down. "I don't know," I said honestly. "I've been up for 36 hours. I can't eat. I keep refreshing my email waiting for the lawyer to call back." "They will. What if they say I don't have a case?" Jordan leaned forward. "Nat, you have a case. You have the most documented case I've ever seen. You have account statements showing they stole $31,000 from an education fund with your name on it. Maybe they had the legal right." "Stop." Her voice was sharp, sharper than I'd ever heard it. "Stop doing that. Stop making excuses for them." I looked down at my coffee. Steam rose in patterns I couldn't track. "They stole from you," Jordan said. "They stole your education fund and used it to pay for Derek's lifestyle. Then they let you take out $89,000 in loans while telling you they couldn't help. That's not bad parenting. That's financial abuse." The word landed like a diagnosis. Abuse. "I don't know if it counts as abuse," I said quietly. "They fed me. They housed me. They weren't violent." Abuse isn't just hitting, Nat. It's control. It's taking your resources and telling you it's love. It's making you feel crazy for noticing you're being treated like you don't matter. I was quiet. "How many times did they tell you money was tight?" Jordan asked. "I don't know. Dozens." "How many times was it actually tight?" I thought about the credit card statements, the available balance, the $9,000 Rolex bought 6 weeks before graduation. "Never," I said. "It was never actually tight." "Right. They lied to you every time you needed help so they could keep spending on Derek. That's financial abuse. That's control. That's theft." Something in my chest loosened. Not relief. Permission, maybe. Permission to be angry. "I worked 25 hours a week through college," I said. My voice sounded strange, distant. "I had stress hives. I lost 12 pounds senior year because I was skipping meals to save money. I had panic attacks before loan payments were due." "I know. And they had $31,000 of my money sitting in an account. They could have helped at any point. They chose not to." "I know. They chose Derek. Every single time." I looked up at her. "What if I'm wrong? What if there's some explanation I'm missing?" Jordan reached across the table and grabbed my hand. "There's no explanation that makes this okay. You're not wrong. You're not crazy. You're not being dramatic. You were robbed by the people who were supposed to protect you." The tears I'd been holding back for 6 days finally broke through. Not dramatic sobbing. Just silent tears running down my face while I sat in a coffee shop at 8:17 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, holding my best friend's hand. "I wanted them to be proud of me," I whispered. "I thought if I was perfect enough, if I achieved enough, they'd finally see me." "They saw you?" Jordan said. "They saw you and decided you didn't need them because you were strong enough to survive without them. They saw Derek struggling and decided he needed everything. That's not your fault. That's their failure." I wiped my face with a napkin. "The lawyer's office opens in 40 minutes. What are you going to tell them?" "Everything." Jordan smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone watching their friend finally pick up a weapon they'd been too afraid to hold. "Good," she said. "Tell them everything. Show them everything. And then make your parents pay for every dollar they stole and every lie they told." "What if it ruins the family?" "Natalie," Jordan squeezed my hand. "They already ruined it. You're just holding up the receipt." We sat there for another 20 minutes. She asked about the spreadsheets, the documentation, what I'd found in the account records. I walked her through all of it. Every number, every transfer, every lie that had funded Derek's life while I'd funded my own. You know what the worst part is? I said finally. What? I still love them. After all of this, some part of me still wants them to apologize and fix it and be the parents I needed. Jordan nodded. That's not weakness, that's grief. You're allowed to grieve the parents you should have had while holding the ones you actually have accountable. My phone buzzed. Unknown number, Boston area code. I answered. Hello? Is this Natalie Chen? Yes. This is Rebecca Hollis from Hollis Family Law. I got your voicemail this morning. I have some time at 10:30 if you'd like to come in and discuss your case. My heart hammered. Yes, I can be there. Great. Bring any documentation you have. I'll see you then. She hung up. I looked at Jordan. I have a meeting in 2 hours. Then drink your coffee, Jordan said. And get ready to burn it all down. Rebecca Hollis's office was on the 14th floor of a glass building in downtown Boston that smelled like money and mahogany. I'd never been in a lawyer's office before. The waiting room had leather chairs and a receptionist who offered me water in a real glass. Art on the walls that looked expensive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the harbor. I felt underdressed in jeans and a sweater. I'd brought the documentation folder and my laptop. Evidence didn't care what I was wearing. Miss Chen? The receptionist smiled. Miss Hollis will see you now. I followed her down a hallway lined with framed diplomas and legal awards. She opened a door to a conference room with a table that could seat 12. Rebecca Hollis stood at the window. She turned when I entered mid-40s. Dark suit, gray streak in her black hair, expression that looked like she'd heard every terrible family story and still had room for one more. Natalie, she said, extending her hand. Thank you for coming in. Please, sit. I sat. She sat across from me with a legal pad and a pen. So, she said, your voicemail mentioned your parents took your college fund. Tell me everything. I opened my laptop and turned it toward her. I made a presentation. Her eyebrow raised slightly. A presentation. I have 18 years of financial records. I thought it would be easier to show you than explain. I clicked play. I'd spent the last hour in Jordan's car building a slideshow. Title slide. Pattern of Financial Discrimination. Chen Family, 2003 to 2024. Rebecca watched without interrupting. Slide 2. Total spending comparison. $67,340 on Derek versus $4,180 on me. Slide 3. Major purchases timeline. Every gift, every denial, color-coded and graphed. Slide 4. The Education Fund. Account opening documents, final statement, transfer details. Slide 5. June 2021 credit card statement, showing where my college fund went. Slide 6. Derek's motorcycle purchase 6 days before my fund was liquidated. Slide 7. My student loan balance. $89,000. Monthly payment. $1,024. Slide 8. Photos from Derek's Rolex celebration, time-stamped during my graduation ceremony. Slide 9. The $3.99 card, front and back. The presentation lasted 11 minutes. When it ended, Rebecca Hollis was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "How long did this take you to compile?" 6 days. This is the most thorough documentation I've seen from a potential client in 15 years of practice. I didn't know what to say to that. She pulled the laptop closer and clicked back through slides. The education fund is the strongest claim. You're listed as the beneficiary. Your parents were custodians, which means they had a fiduciary duty to use those funds for your education. Can I sue them for it? Yes, this is called conversion of funds. They took property designated for you and used it for someone else. That's actionable. My heart was hammering. How much would it cost? My retainer for a case like this is $5,000. Total legal fees will likely range from $8,000 to $15,000, depending on whether they settle or fight. $8,000 to $15,000. Money I didn't have. Rebecca must have seen my face. We can discuss payment plans. And if we win, we can petition the court to award attorney's fees as part of the judgment. If we win, I repeated. Natalie. She leaned forward. You have the account opening documents showing you as beneficiary. You have the closure statement showing unauthorized transfer. You have the credit card records showing they used your education money to pay for discretionary purchases. This is one of the clearest cases of financial misconduct I've seen. What about the rest of it? The favoritism. The pattern. That strengthens your case. It shows this wasn't a one-time mistake or misunderstanding. This was systematic financial discrimination spanning your entire childhood. That demonstrates intent. Intent. A legal word for what I'd always felt but could never name. What are my options? I asked. Rebecca wrote on her legal pad. Option 1. Civil lawsuit for conversion of funds. We sue for the $31,000, plus interest, plus potentially damages for emotional distress. This will take 14 to 18 months and cost $8,000 to $15,000 in legal fees. Option 2. Formal demand letter. I write to your parents on official letterhead, outlining the case and demanding repayment within 30 days. Cost is $350. If they pay, case closed. If they don't, we proceed with option 1. Option 3. Walk away. Accept the loss and cut contact. I looked at her. That's not an option. She smiled slightly. I didn't think so. But I'm ethically required to present it. I want the demand letter, I said. Give them a chance to do the right thing. If they refuse, I want the lawsuit. Rebecca nodded. That's the approach I'd recommend. It shows good faith and gives them an opportunity to settle before this becomes public record. Public record. I hadn't thought about that. If we go to court, this becomes public? I asked. Yes. Court filings are public documents. Anyone can access them. I thought about that. My parents' friends, their church, Dad's coworkers, everyone who'd seen Derek's Rolex video and thought they were generous parents. Everyone would know they'd stolen from me. Good, I said. Let them see it. Rebecca's smile widened. I'll draft the demand letter today. I'll need you to sign some retainer documents and provide authorization to act on your behalf. How long before they get the letter? Certified mail. They'll have it within 3 business days. 3 days. 72 hours. Then my parents would know I knew. What if they retaliate? I asked quietly. Retaliate how? I don't know. Cut me off. Tell the family I'm lying. Turn everyone against me. Rebecca's expression softened. Natalie, based on what you've shown me, they already cut you off. They've been cutting you off your entire life. You're just naming it now. She was right. As for the family, she continued, that's the hardest part of cases like this. Families tend to take sides. Some will believe you, some won't. Some will stay neutral to avoid conflict. You need to prepare for the possibility that this damages relationships. It already is damaged, I said. I'm just done pretending it's not. Then let's proceed. Rebecca slid papers across the table. Initial here, here, and here. Sign at the bottom. This authorizes me to represent you, and draft the demand letter. I read every word, then I signed. One more thing, Rebecca said. Do you have witnesses? People who observed this pattern, who might be willing to provide statements? I have a list. I pulled out my phone and showed her the 23 names I'd compiled. Good. We may need them. Start reaching out. Keep it simple. I'm addressing some family financial issues and I might need character witnesses. Would you be willing to have a conversation? Don't go into details yet. Just gauge willingness. I nodded and added notes to my phone. Rebecca stood. I'll have the demand letter drafted by tomorrow. You'll review it before I send it. They'll have 30 days to respond. Use that time to prepare yourself emotionally. This is going to be hard. Harder than the last 18 years? She paused at that. No, probably not, but different. This time, you're fighting back. We shook hands. Her grip was firm. One last question, I said at the door. Do you think I'm doing the right thing? Rebecca looked at me for a long moment. I think you're doing the only thing. They stole from you. They lied to you. They chose your brother over you for 18 years. You have every right to hold them accountable. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I left her office at 11:47 a.m. with signed paperwork and a plan. I sat in my car in the parking garage and called Jordan. How did it go? She answered immediately. I hired her, I said. She's sending a demand letter. $31,000 plus interest. 30 days to pay, or I'm suing. Jordan was quiet for 3 seconds. Then, holy shit, Nat. You're really doing this. I'm really doing this. How do you feel? I thought about it. Terrified. Angry. Powerful. Good, Jordan said. Stay angry. Anger is fuel. Use it. I would. The demand letter arrived at my parents' house on a Thursday. I know because Mom called at 11:23 a.m., her voice shaking with something between shock and rage. Natalie Marie Chen, what the hell is this? I was at work, my new research position at a biotech lab I'd started 2 weeks post-graduation. I stepped into the hallway. It's a legal demand for repayment of my education fund, I said calmly. The one you stole. We didn't steal anything. That money was for the family. It was for me. My name was on the account. Beneficiary: Natalie Marie Chen. You took it without telling me and used it to pay off credit card debt. We had expenses. Derek's motorcycle cost $8,000. You bought it 6 days before closing my account. Silence. How dare you, she said finally. How dare you hire a lawyer and come after your own family over money? How dare you take $31,000 that was meant for my education and give it to Derek? We didn't give it to Derek. You paid off debt from his lifestyle. Then you paid his tuition. My money funded his college semester. The one he failed. You don't understand how finances work. I understand perfectly. I have every credit card statement from the last 6 years. I have the account closure documents. I have 18 years of receipts showing you spent $67,000 more on Derek than on me. I understand exactly how it works. Another silence. Longer this time. Your father is devastated, she said, voice cold. You've broken his heart. He broke mine when he didn't come to my graduation. Derek needed us that day. Derek needed a Rolex? I needed my parents. I graduated from MIT with a 3.9 gigapascals and $89,000 in debt you could have helped with. You chose a watch over me. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Mom? Explain it to me. Make it make sense. She couldn't. She hung up instead. I stood in the hallway staring at my phone for 2 minutes. Then I went back to work. Over the next 3 weeks, I systematically reached out to my list of 23 potential witnesses. The conversations followed a pattern. Me. I'm addressing some family financial issues. Would you be willing to have a conversation if needed? Then I waited to see who said yes. Grandpa Bob. About damn time. I'll testify in court if you need me. Aunt Carol. I always wondered why they treated you two so differently. Yes, I'll help. Uncle James. What kind of financial issues? Me. They took my college fund and spent it on Derek. Uncle James. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'll back you up. Cousin Michelle. I have photos from every birthday party growing up. Derek's looked like weddings. Yours looked like, I don't know, afterthoughts. I'll send you everything. Not everyone said yes. Aunt Linda. I don't want to get involved in family drama. Uncle Tom. This is between you and your parents. 3 cousins didn't respond at all. But 17 people said yes. 17 relatives who'd witnessed the pattern over the years and were willing to say it out loud. Jordan helped me organize their statements. We created a document, Witness Accounts of Financial Favoritism in the Chen Family. Each person got a section. Witness: Robert Chen, grandfather. Relationship: paternal grandfather. Observations: I gave Richard and Susan $5,000 in 2015, specifically to help with Natalie's college costs. They told me they'd put it in her education fund. Now I find out they closed that fund. Where did my money go? Every Christmas, Derek's gifts took up half the living room. Natalie's fit in a small gift bag. I thought maybe she'd requested less, but looking back, that doesn't make sense. I watched them miss Natalie's high school graduation because Derek had a soccer tournament. She never said anything, but I could see it hurt her. Witness: Carol Patterson, aunt. Relationship: maternal aunt. Observations: Susan called me in 2019 asking to borrow $1,200 because money was tight. 3 weeks later, I saw Facebook photos of Derek's gaming setup upgrade. The equipment looked expensive. When I asked Susan about it, she changed the subject. I offered to take Natalie school shopping in 2014. Susan said they couldn't afford much, but Derek had just gotten new soccer cleats that cost $200. I remember because he wouldn't stop talking about them. At family gatherings, Derek got the spotlight. Awards, achievements, milestones always celebrated publicly. Natalie's achievements were mentioned in passing or not at all. The document grew to 47 pages, 17 witnesses, decades of observations. A pattern so clear that even people who'd stayed silent before couldn't deny it when asked directly. I sent the complete file to Rebecca Hollis. She called me the next day. "This is extraordinary," she said. "Most family cases struggle to find two credible witnesses. You have 17, all with specific examples, dates, and corroborating details. Is it enough? It's more than enough. If your parents refuse to settle and we go to court, this testimony will be devastating. It establishes a clear, long-term pattern of financial discrimination. That supports your conversion claim and adds weight to emotional distress damages." Emotional distress damages. Money for the therapy I'd need after this was over. "What's the status of the demand letter?" I asked. "They have 11 days left to respond. Have they contacted you?" My mom called the day it arrived, denied everything. Hung up on me? That's not uncommon. Expect more calls as the deadline approaches. Don't engage unless you want to. Anything you say can be used in court. What if they pay? Then we draw up a settlement agreement. They transfer the funds, and this is over. What if they don't? Then we file the lawsuit. And based on what you've given me, we win. Day 27 of the 30-day deadline, Dad called. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. "Natalie," his voice was strained. "We need to talk. We can talk through lawyers. Please, just listen. We don't have $31,000. We can't pay this. You had it 4 years ago when you took it from me. We had expenses. Derek's expenses. And we thought we'd pay it back before you noticed. You didn't think I'd find out you stole from me. It wasn't stealing. We're your parents. That money was always family money. It was in an account with my name as beneficiary. That makes it my money, legally and morally. We can't afford a lawyer," he said. "If you sue us, we'll lose the house." Good, I thought. But I didn't say it. You should have thought of that before you spent my education fund on Derek's motorcycle. "Natalie, you have 3 days to pay. If you don't, my lawyer files the lawsuit. It'll be public record. Everyone you know will see that you stole from your own daughter. Your choice." I hung up. My hands were shaking, not from fear, from power. Jordan looked up from her laptop where she was working at my kitchen table. "How do you feel?" "Like I just jumped off a cliff," I said, "and I don't know if I'm flying or falling." "You're flying," she said. "Trust me. You're flying." 3 days later, the 30-day deadline passed. No payment, No apology. No acknowledgement. Rebecca Hollis filed the lawsuit on day 31. Natalie Chen v. Richard Chen and Susan Chen. Civil action. Conversion of funds. Breach of fiduciary duty. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Amount sought, $43,780, $31,447.82 original fund, plus $12,332.18, interest and damage. The case number was assigned within an hour. It was real, it was public, it was irreversible. I posted nothing on social media. I told no one except Jordan and my lawyer. But within 48 hours, my phone started ringing. Relatives who'd heard from other relatives, friends of my parents, people I hadn't talked to in years. Is it true you're suing your parents? Why would you do this? Don't you think you're overreacting? I blocked 12 numbers the first day. But some calls were different. Cousin Michelle. I saw the filing. I'm on your side. If you need anything, I'm here. Grandpa Bob. About time someone held them accountable. I'm proud of you, kid. Uncle James. Your aunt and I want you to know we support you. What they did was wrong. The family was splitting, just like Rebecca had warned. Some on their side, some on mine, some silent, waiting to see who won. I didn't care anymore. I'd spent 18 years caring what they thought, 18 years trying to be perfect enough to matter. I was done. I had 900 pages of documentation. I had 17 witnesses. I had a lawyer who believed me, and a best friend who'd go to war for me. I had a case, and I was going to win. Derek's 22nd birthday party was scheduled for August 12th. I found out through cousin Michelle, who'd been invited and immediately forwarded me the Facebook event page. Chen family celebration, Derek's 22nd birthday. Location: my parents' house, backyard. Time: 2 p.m., 6 p.m. Expected guests: 40 plus. Catered by the same barbecue place they'd used for his high school graduation party, the one I'd worked during college for $9 an hour. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Michelle texted. I was. 3 weeks until the party, 3 weeks to prepare. I met with Rebecca Hollis 2 days later. I want to confront them publicly, I said. At Derek's birthday party. She set down her pen. Natalie, I have to advise against that. Public confrontations can hurt your case. Anything you say could be used against you. What if I only present facts? No yelling, no drama, just evidence. What kind of evidence? I want to show everyone what they did, the spreadsheet, the account statements, the timeline, everything I've documented. Rebecca was quiet for a long moment. That's a bold strategy. They've been lying to the whole family for 18 years. Everyone thinks they're generous parents. Everyone saw Derek's Rolex video and believed it. I want them to see the truth. If you do this, you can't lose control. No matter what they say, no matter how they react. You present facts, you stay calm, you leave. I understand. And you need to record it. If this goes badly, we need documentation. I'll have witnesses recording, multiple angles. She almost smiled. You've thought this through. I've had 18 years to think about it. Rebecca pulled out a legal pad. Let's plan this properly. What exactly do you want to say? We spent 2 hours drafting my statement. Every word chosen carefully. Every claim backed by documentation. Every number verified 3 times. By the end, I had a 3-minute speech that would destroy my parents' reputation and couldn't be disputed. Practice this, Rebecca said, until you can deliver it without looking at notes. Until you can say it while they're screaming at you. Until it's muscle memory. I practiced for 2 weeks. In my apartment, in my car, in the mirror, in front of Jordan, who played devil's advocate and interrupted me with every excuse my parents might throw. We were helping the family. You don't understand our finances. You're being dramatic. I learned to keep going. To not engage. to present facts and let them speak. Jordan helped me create visual aids. We printed the spreadsheet enlarged, highlighted, laminated. Impossible to ignore. We made evidence packets, one for each family member. 12 pages, summary of financial disparity, account closure documents, key credit card statements, witness quotes. Everything in black and white. Everything sourced. Everything true. They're going to lose their minds, Jordan said as we assembled the 40th packet. I know. Your family is going to implode. It already imploded. I'm just showing them the wreckage. She looked at me. You're sure about this? I thought about the empty chairs at graduation, the $3.99 card, the Rolex video, the stolen college fund. I'm sure. Cousin Michelle was my inside source. She RSVP'd yes to the party and gathered intel. They're going all out, she texted. Catered food, rented tables. A cake that cost $300. Guess what Derek's gift is? Tell me. New iPad Pro. $1,200. Of course. How many people confirmed? I asked. 43 so far. Includes Grandpa Bob, Aunt Carol, Uncle James's family, all your witnesses. Perfect. What about Derek? Does he know about the lawsuit? Your parents told him you're going through something and to ignore it. He thinks you're having a breakdown. I laughed. It sounded sharp even to my own ears. Let him think that. He'll learn the truth soon enough. Michelle sent updates daily. Guest list growing. Menu finalized. Mom posting on Facebook about celebrating our amazing son. No mention of her other child, the one suing her. I wasn't invited, obviously. But Michelle assured me she could get me in. I'll tell them I'm bringing a +1. They won't check. They're too focused on making Derek's day perfect. What if they see me and kick me out before I can say anything? Then we make sure you get there right when the party's in full swing, when there are too many witnesses for them to cause a scene. We planned my entrance like a military operation. Arrival time, 3:30 p.m. Peak party time. Everyone fed, relaxed, gathered. Entry point. Side gate. Michelle would leave it unlocked. Positioning. Near the patio where Derek would be opening gifts. Central location. Maximum visibility. Equipment. Portable speaker for my laptop. Evidence packets in a leather bag. 3 friends with phones recording from different angles. Exit strategy. Jordan's car parked 2 blocks away. Quick escape if needed. This is insane, Jordan said the night before. You know that, right? I know. They might call the cops. I'll be gone before they arrive. Your mom might physically attack you. Then we'll have assault on video. Jordan shook her head. You've changed. No, I said. I just stopped pretending. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, running through the speech one more time. 3 minutes, 180 seconds, the most important words I'd ever say. I thought about being 10 years old, crying in the car after another forgotten recital. I thought about being 16, working library shifts to afford science Olympiad dues. I thought about being 21, standing in a parking lot in my graduation gown, holding a $3.99 card. All of it led to tomorrow. All of it mattered. At 4 a.m., I got up and read the speech one final time. Then I deleted it from my laptop. I didn't need notes anymore. I knew every word. The morning of August 12th arrived with perfect weather. Sunny, 75 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. The universe had a sense of irony. I woke up at 7 a.m. even though I didn't need to be anywhere until 3:30. My stomach was a knot. I couldn't untangle. I tried to eat breakfast. Jordan made eggs, but I managed 3 bites before giving up. You need to eat, she said. I can't. Nat. I'll throw up if I eat. I'm fine. I wasn't fine. I was terrified. But terror felt appropriate. I spent the morning organizing evidence packets, checking equipment, testing the portable speaker, charging my phone 3 times even though it was already at 100%. At noon, Michelle texted, "Party setup complete. It's massive. They really went all out." She sent photos: white tent in the backyard, string lights, rented tables with tablecloths, a dessert bar with 5 types of cookies, the BBQ caterer's truck parked in the driveway. Another photo: the gift table, already piled high with wrapped boxes and gift bags. "How much do you think they spent on this party?" I asked Jordan. "Couple thousand, easily." Meanwhile, my graduation celebration had been a $3.99 card left on my doorstep. At 1 p.m., I started getting ready. I chose my outfit carefully. Professional but not formal. Black jeans, white button-up, blazer. I wanted to look credible, serious, like someone presenting evidence, not throwing a tantrum. I did my makeup, minimal. I'd probably cry. Better to start simple. At 2 p.m., my phone buzzed with updates from Michelle. "Guests arriving. 30+ people already here. Derek just showed up, wearing the Rolex. Your parents look so happy. This is going to destroy them." That last text made me pause. Was I really going to do this? Walk into my brother's birthday party and blow up my family in front of 40 people? I looked at my laptop, at the spreadsheet still open on the screen. $67,340 versus $4,180. $31,447.82 stolen. 18 years of being invisible. Yes, I was really going to do this. At 3 p.m., Jordan drove me to my parents' neighborhood. We parked 2 blocks away like planned. "You have everything?" she asked. I checked my bag. Laptop, speaker, evidence packets, phone. "I have everything." "You remember the plan? Get in, set up, deliver speech, get out. And if they try to stop you, keep talking. The evidence speaks for itself." Jordan grabbed my hand. "I'm proud of you. I haven't done it yet." "You're about to. That takes more courage than most people have." At 3:20, we walked to the house. 2 blocks felt like 2 miles. My heart hammered against my ribs. We could hear the party from the street. Music, laughter, the sound of a family celebration I'd never been given. Michelle met us at the side gate. "Everyone's here. Derek's about to start opening gifts. Your parents are with him. This is perfect timing." She looked at Jordan. "You're the backup?" "I'm the backup." "Good, let's go." We walked through the gate into my parents' backyard. 43 people. Maybe more. Relatives I'd known my whole life. Family, friends, neighbors, Derek's friends. All gathered under the white tent, plates of BBQ in hand, smiling and laughing. No one noticed me at first. I walked through the crowd toward the patio. Michelle and Jordan flanked me. 3 other friends who'd arrived earlier as regular guests positioned themselves with phones ready. I reached the patio. Derek stood at the gift table, holding a wrapped box, Mom and Dad on either side of him, beaming. I set my bag down. Pulled out the laptop and speaker. Connected them. Someone noticed me. Aunt Carol. Her eyes went wide. Then Grandpa Bob saw me. He nodded once. Permission. Support. Then my mother looked up. She froze. "Natalie?" Her voice cut through the music. "What are you doing here?" Every head turned toward me. 43 people, all staring. I opened my laptop. The spreadsheet filled the screen. "I'm here to tell the truth," I said. My voice carried. Clear. Steady. Stronger than I felt. Derek lowered his gift. "What the hell?" Dad stepped forward. "Natalie, this isn't the time." "This is exactly the time," I said. "Everyone's here. Everyone who's told me for years that my parents love me and Derek equally. I want you all to see the proof that they don't." I don't look at my parents. I look at the crowd. 43 faces, some confused, some curious, some already uncomfortable. My name is Natalie Chen, I begin. I graduated from MIT 3 months ago. My parents didn't come to my graduation. They were here, at this house, giving my brother a Rolex Submariner worth $9,147. Mom's voice, Natalie, stop this. I keep going. I received a $3.99 card that said, figure it out. No signature, no check, just those 3 words. I turn my laptop so the crowd can see the screen. This is 18 years of financial records. Every gift, every expense, every dollar my parents spent on Derek versus what they spent on me. I click to the summary slide. Total spent on Derek, $67,340. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Total spent on me, $4,180. Silence. The difference is $63,160. Someone's phone drops. The clatter is loud in the quiet. Dad moves toward me. You need to leave. Now. I'm not done. Uncle James steps between us. Let her talk, Richard. I click to the next slide. The Education Fund documents. When I was 3 years old, my parents opened a 529 education savings account in my name. By the time I was 18, it had $31,447 in it. Money meant for my college education. I click again. The account closure statement. June 18th, 4 years ago, they closed the account. They transferred all $31,447 to their credit card to pay off debt. Mom's voice is shaking. We had expenses we were going to pay it back. 6 days before you closed my account, you spent $8,200 on Derek's motorcycle, the one he totaled 6 weeks later. I click to the credit card statement. Point to the charges. Yamaha motorcycles. June 3rd. $8,200. Education fund transfer. June 18th. $31,447.82. My college fund paid for Derek's toy. Derek's face is white. I didn't know. Of course you didn't, I say. Because they never told you no. They never made you work for anything. They never made you choose between eating and paying rent like I did for 4 years. Aunt Carol's hand covers her mouth. I click to the next slide. My student loan balance. I graduated with $89,000 in student loans. I worked 25 hours a week through college. I had panic attacks before loan payments were due. I lost 12 pounds senior year because I was skipping meals to save money. I look at my parents now. And you had my college fund the entire time. You could have helped. You chose not to. Mom is crying. We thought you were strong enough. Strong enough? My voice rises. I pull it back down. You didn't think I was strong. You thought I was convenient. I didn't complain. I didn't fail. I didn't need you. So you gave everything to the child who did. I turn back to the crowd. I'm not telling you this for sympathy. I'm telling you this because for 18 years, everyone here has watched this happen and said nothing. You watched them miss my school events for Derek's soccer. You watched them buy him cars and computers while I worked minimum wage jobs. You watched them give him a Rolex at a fake graduation party while I walked across the MIT stage alone. Grandpa Bob stands. She's right. I've watched it for years. I gave them $5,000 in 2015, specifically for Natalie's college. Where did that money go, Susan? Mom can't answer. Uncle James speaks up. You called me in 2019 asking to borrow $1,200 because money was tight. 3 weeks later, Derek had a $2,400 gaming setup. Aunt Carol. You told me you couldn't afford to help Natalie with textbooks, but Derek had a private soccer coach. Cousin Michelle. Every birthday party I attended, Derek's looked like a wedding, Natalie's looked like an afterthought. The crowd is murmuring now. Phones are out. Some recording, some texting, some just staring. Dad's voice cuts through. This is about the lawsuit, isn't it? You're trying to turn the family against us because we can't pay you back. No, I say. I'm turning the family against you because you stole from me and lied about it for 4 years. Because you chose Derek over me for 18 years. Because you made me believe something was wrong with me when the only thing wrong was you. Mom steps forward. We love you both equally. Don't. The word comes out sharp. Don't lie anymore. Not here, not in front of everyone. I click to the final slide. The photo from graduation day. Me on stage, diploma in hand, smiling at the camera. And in the corner, timestamp visible, 10:47 a.m. Next to it, a screenshot from Derek's Instagram, him holding the Rolex, his girlfriend's caption, same timestamp, 10:47 a.m. I was graduating from MIT, I say quietly, and you were here putting a $9,000 watch on his wrist. The silence is total. Even the music has stopped. Someone turned it off. I reach into my bag and pull out the evidence packets. These are for anyone who wants to verify what I'm saying. Account statements, credit card records, witness statements from 17 family members. It's all documented. It's all true. It's all public record because they refused to pay me back and I sued them. I start handing out packets. Aunt Carol takes one. Uncle James, Grandpa Bob, Cousin Michelle distributes the rest. People open them. Start reading. The murmuring grows louder. Derek's voice is small. Nat, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I look at him. Really look at him. He's wearing the Rolex. The iPad Mom mentioned is wrapped on the gift table. He's surrounded by 40 people who came to celebrate him. I know you didn't, I say. That's the problem. You never had to know. You never had to worry. You never had to fight for anything because they gave you everything. I didn't ask for. You didn't have to ask. That's my point. Mom is fully crying now. We did our best. Your best was stealing from me to fund his lifestyle? We made mistakes. Mistakes are accidental. This was 18 years of choices, documented choices, choices you made every single day to value him more than me. Dad's face is red. If you hate us so much, why are you here? I don't hate you, I say, and I realize it's true. I hate what you did. I hate that you made me feel invisible. I hate that you let me struggle while you spent thousands on him. I hate that when I finally achieved something worth celebrating, you couldn't be bothered to show up. I close my laptop, but I don't hate you. I just don't forgive you. I pick up my bag. You have 11 days left to settle the lawsuit before it goes to trial. Attorney Hollis will be in contact. If you refuse, every document in these packets becomes public court record. Everyone you know, not just this family, everyone will see exactly what you did. I turn to leave. Mom's voice stops me. You're really going to destroy this family over money? I look back at her. You destroyed it 18 years ago when you decided I wasn't worth the same love as Derek. I'm just showing everyone the receipts. The crowd parts as I walk through. No one stops me. Grandpa Bob touches my shoulder as I pass. Proud of you, kid. Aunt Carol hugs me. Call me later. Uncle James nods. You did the right thing. I make it through the side gate. Jordan's waiting. We walk to her car in silence. I don't look back at the house. Don't need to. Behind us, I hear the party dissolving into chaos. Raised voices, my mother sobbing, people arguing. I get in the car. Jordan starts driving. How do you feel? She asks after 2 blocks. I think about it. Free, I say finally. I feel free. My phone starts buzzing, text after text. Cousin Michelle. Holy shit, your mom is having a breakdown. Half the party left. This is insane. Aunt Carol. Everyone's talking. The packets are being shared. Your parents can't deny any of it. Uncle James. Your dad tried to claim you edited the documents. Grandpa Bob shut him down hard. Said he'd testify in court if needed. Random number. This is Aunt Linda. What you did today was cruel and unnecessary. I block the number. Another text from Michelle. Derek opened the rest of his gifts. No one clapped. Everyone just left. The party's over. Good. Jordan glances at me. You okay? Yeah, I say. I really am. I open my photos and look at the picture from today. Michelle had taken it right before I started speaking. Me standing at the patio, laptop open, evidence ready. 43 people in the background, about to learn the truth. I look powerful in that photo. Certain, strong, not invisible anymore. Never invisible again. That night, Derek's girlfriend's Instagram story shows the abandoned party. Tables half cleared, decorations still up. The gift table visible in the background, presents unopened. Caption: When family drama ruins everything. The story gets 12,000 views. Someone screen records it and posts it to TikTok with the caption, Girl crashes her brother's birthday party and exposes her parents for financial abuse with receipts. That video gets 340,000 views by midnight, 1.2 million by morning. Everyone, Mom invited, sees it. Her church friends, Dad's coworkers, their neighbors. The comments are brutal. Those parents are trash. The girl graduated from MIT and they gave her a $4 card? Jail. $67K on one kid and $4K on the other? That's not parenting. That's favoritism. The college fund part made me sick. They stole from her. I hope she wins the lawsuit and takes everything. I don't watch the video more than once. Don't read all the comments. I don't need to. The truth is out, and there's no taking it back. The video went viral while I slept. I woke up at 9 a.m. to 247 notifications, text messages from relatives I hadn't spoken to in years, Instagram DMs from strangers, 3 voicemails from numbers I didn't recognize. Jordan was already awake, sitting at my kitchen table with her laptop open. You need to see this, she said. The TikTok video had 1.8 million views. The comments section was a war zone of strangers dissecting my family, supporting me, condemning my parents, debating whether I'd gone too far. I read 5 comments and closed the app. Everyone knows, I said. Everyone knows, Jordan confirmed. My phone rang. Grandpa Bob. You doing okay, kid? He asked when I answered. I think so. Your mother called me at midnight, wanted me to convince you to drop the lawsuit. I told her to pay you what she owes you. What did she say? She hung up on me. Your father called an hour later. Same request. I gave him the same answer. I sat down on the couch. How bad is it over there? Bad. Half the family's not speaking to them. Your Aunt Linda is defending them. But everyone else saw those documents. Can't unsee that kind of evidence. Do you think I did the right thing? I know you did, he said firmly. They needed to be held accountable. I'm just sorry it took this long. We talked for another 10 minutes. He told me Aunt Carol had called him crying, apologizing for not speaking up sooner. Uncle James had texted him saying he'd testify in court if needed. Cousin Michelle was fielding angry messages from my mother, accusing her of helping me destroy the family. The family wasn't just split, it was fractured. 17 relatives on my side, 3 on theirs, the rest silent, uncomfortable, waiting to see how this resolved. By noon, my phone had 400+ notifications. I turned it off. Rebecca Hollis called Jordan's phone instead. Natalie, we need to talk about the viral video. Is it going to hurt my case? Actually, it might help. Public pressure sometimes forces settlements. But more importantly, I got a call from your parents' attorney this morning. They want to negotiate. My stomach dropped. They do? The video made this very public. Very ugly. They want it to go away. Are you willing to settle? I thought about it. Only if they pay the full amount. $43,780. No negotiation. I'll tell them, stand by. She called back 3 hours later. They've agreed to mediation. We meet next week. The mediation happened on a Wednesday in a conference room that smelled like fear and stale coffee. My parents sat on one side of the table with their attorney, a tired-looking man in a wrinkled suit. I sat on the other side with Rebecca, my evidence binder between us like a weapon. We didn't look at each other. The mediator, a woman in her 60s with kind eyes and no-nonsense energy, explained the process. We're here to find a resolution both parties can accept. Everything said in this room is confidential. Let's start with opening statements. Rebecca went first. Clean, professional, devastating. My client is seeking $43,780 in damages for conversion of funds from an education savings account, bearing her name as beneficiary. The funds were withdrawn without her knowledge or consent and used for non-educational expenses benefiting another family member. We have documented evidence of systematic financial discrimination spanning 18 years, supported by witness testimony from 17 family members. This case is winnable in court. We're here today because my client is willing to settle if the defendants pay the full amount owed. My parents' attorney cleared his throat. My clients acknowledge that mistakes were made in communication and financial management. However, they dispute the characterization of theft or systematic discrimination. They acted as parents making difficult financial decisions for the family as a whole. They propose a settlement of $15,000, paid over 3 years, with no admission of wrongdoing. I almost laughed. Rebecca didn't. That's 34% of what they stole. Unacceptable. It's what they can afford. They afforded a $9,000 Rolex 3 months ago. They can afford to return my client's education fund. The mediator raised her hand. Let's hear from the parties directly. Natalie, would you like to speak? I looked at my parents for the first time since we'd sat down. Mom's eyes were red. Dad's face was hard. I don't want your money to punish you, I said quietly. I want it because it was mine. You took it without asking. You used it to fund Derek's lifestyle. Then you let me drown in debt while lying about why you couldn't help. I worked myself sick for 4 years because I thought we couldn't afford it. We could. You just chose not to help me. Mom's voice cracked. We thought you didn't need us. I needed you at my graduation. I needed you to care as much about my achievements as you did about Derek's failures. I needed you to treat me like I mattered. You do matter. Then pay me back. Prove it. Give me back what you took. The room was silent. The mediator turned to my parents. Would you like to respond? Dad finally spoke. We don't have $43,000. If we liquidate savings and borrow from Richard's 401k, we can do $31,000. That's the fund amount, not the interest or damages. Rebecca leaned forward. The interest and damages exist because you stole the money 4 years ago and refused to return it. That's on you. We didn't refuse, we didn't think she knew. Because you hid it, that's not better. Another silence. The mediator checked her notes. Let's take a break. 15 minutes. Think about what resolution you can both live with. We reconvened 20 minutes later. My parents' attorney spoke first. My clients will agree to $35,000, paid in 6 monthly installments of $5,833. They'll also agree to a no-contact arrangement if that's what Natalie wants. Rebecca looked at me, the question in her eyes. Do we take it? I did the math. $35,000 was $8,780 less than I'd asked for. But it was $3,552 more than they'd stolen. It covered the original amount, plus some interest. And it meant this would be over. I want it in writing, I said. A settlement agreement that specifies what the money is for. Repayment of education fund, wrongfully taken in June 2021. I want them to acknowledge what they did. Their attorney bristled. An admission of wrongdoing could expose them to. Then we go to trial, Rebecca said calmly, where 17 witnesses will testify under oath about 18 years of documented financial discrimination, where the jury will see video of your clients celebrating their son's fake graduation while their daughter graduated from MIT alone, where every credit card statement, every bank record, every receipt will become public record, your choice. My parents' attorney consulted with them in whispered tones. Finally, Dad nodded. We accept her terms, the attorney said. Settlement of $35,000, paid in 6 monthly installments, with written acknowledgement that the funds originated from Natalie's education account. Rebecca pulled out her laptop and began drafting the agreement. It took 3 hours to finalize. Every word negotiated, every clause debated. By 6 p.m., we had a signed settlement agreement. My parents would pay $5,833.33 per month for 6 months. The first payment was due within 10 days. If they missed a payment, the full amount became immediately due, and the lawsuit would resume. The agreement specified, "This payment represents return of funds from an education savings account. Account number XXXX5847, bearing Natalie Chen as beneficiary. Closed June 18, 2021, without beneficiary's knowledge or consent." Not an apology, but an acknowledgement. We all signed. The mediator notarized it. Then we left without speaking. The first payment arrived 9 days later. $5,833.33 deposited into my account. I stared at my phone for 5 minutes, watching the balance update. Then I transferred $2,000 directly to my student loans. Principal balance, $87,000, $85,000. It felt like breathing after being underwater. The second payment came 32 days later. $5,833.33. I paid another $2,000 to loans, put $3,000 in savings, used $833 to buy groceries without checking my account balance first. By payment 3, I'd paid off $8,000 in student loans and built a $7,000 emergency fund. By payment 6, 5 months after the settlement, I'd received all $35,000. My loan balance dropped to $81,000. My credit score jumped from 672 to 728. My savings account held $12,400, the same amount as the interest they'd cost me. A deliberate choice. I could breathe without panic now, could make loan payments without skipping meals, could afford to exist without constant financial terror. Money didn't fix what they'd broken, but it removed the weight they'd left. The family fracture became permanent. By Thanksgiving, the divisions were clear. My side: Grandpa Bob and Grandma Helen, Aunt Carol and her husband, Uncle James, his wife, and their 3 kids, Cousin Michelle and 8 other cousins. 2 family friends who'd witnessed the party confrontation. Their side: Derek, of course, Aunt Linda, 2 cousins who thought I'd gone too far. Neutral. No contact. Uncle Tom's family didn't want to pick sides. 4 cousins who went silent. Several family friends who quietly stopped attending gatherings. Thanksgiving that year was split. My parents hosted their traditional dinner at their house. 12 people came down from the usual 40. I spent Thanksgiving at Grandpa Bob's with 23 people who'd chosen truth over comfort. Aunt Carol made turkey. Uncle James brought wine. Cousin Michelle created a photo board of my MIT graduation since my parents hadn't bothered. We didn't talk about the lawsuit. We didn't talk about my parents. We celebrated what they'd failed to. My achievement, my survival, my victory. Grandpa Bob gave a toast. To Natalie, who had the courage to demand what she deserved. And to families we choose when biology fails us. Everyone raised their glasses. I cried. Happy tears this time. Christmas was similar. Separate celebrations. Separate families. My parents tried to reach out once. Mom sent a card to my apartment in late December. Inside: "We miss you. We hope you'll come home for the holidays. Love, Mom and Dad." No apology. No acknowledgement. Just an invitation to pretend nothing had happened. I didn't respond. Derek texted me in January. "Can we talk? I want to understand what happened." I called him. We talked for 90 minutes. He cried. Said he didn't know how unequal things had been. Said he felt guilty about the Rolex, the iPad, the money spent on him. I didn't ask for it to be unfair, he said. I know, I said. But you benefited from it. And you never questioned why I was working 3 jobs while you got everything handed to you. I thought you wanted to be independent. I didn't have a choice. Independence wasn't a personality trait. It was survival. He was quiet for a long time. What do I do now? You grow up. You get a job. You stop letting them enable you. You become someone who earns what he has, instead of someone who just receives it. Are we ever going to be okay? He asked. I don't know, I said honestly. Maybe. But not until you understand why we're not okay now. We haven't talked since. By spring, the family structure had solidified into its new normal. I saw my chosen family regularly. Monthly dinners with Grandpa Bob. Coffee with Aunt Carol. Game nights with Cousin Michelle and her friends. My parents existed in a separate world. Same city, different universe. I heard about them occasionally through relatives. Dad's work situation was tense. Colleagues had seen the viral video. Mom had stepped down from her church volunteer position after uncomfortable questions about the lawsuit. Derek still lived at home, still unemployed, still dependent. They'd built their life around enabling him. Without me there to contrast against, the cracks were showing. I didn't feel victorious about that, just sad. Sad for the family we could have been if they'd chosen differently. But I'd stopped waiting for them to choose me. It's been 3 years since the birthday party confrontation. 3 years since I stood in front of 43 people and showed them proof of 18 years of inequality. 3 years since the viral video. Since the lawsuit. Since the family split. I'm 25 now. Sitting in my 1-bedroom condo in Cambridge that I bought last year, 10% down payment, I saved myself $340,000, purchase price that felt impossible until it wasn't. The MIT diploma hangs on my living room wall. Framed. Next to it, my first published research paper in Nature. And next to that, a photo from Grandpa Bob's 80th birthday party last month, where 30 people who love me celebrated a man who'd never made me feel invisible. No photos of my parents. No photos of Derek. That's not anger. That's just truth. My life now looks nothing like it did 3 years ago. Financially, I'm stable for the first time in my adult life. The settlement money jump-started my recovery. I've paid off $47,200 of my student loans, balanced down from $89,000 to $41,800. My monthly payment is manageable now. $481 instead of $1,024. My credit score hit 738 last month. I have $12,400 in emergency savings, a deliberate mirror of the interest they cost me. But now it's mine. Earned, protected, real. I got promoted at work 18 months ago. Senior Research Associate in Biotechnology, $87,000 annual salary. I'm co-authoring a 3rd paper. I mentor 3 undergraduate students who remind me of myself, brilliant and broke, and fighting for recognition. I tell them, document everything. Know your worth. Don't accept less than you deserve. They listen, they learn, they survive. Relationships have rebuilt differently. Jordan finished her PhD and moved to Seattle for work, but we video chat weekly. She's still my chosen sister. Still the person who said, "That's not love," when I needed to hear it. I'm dating someone. Alex, software engineer. Met through a mutual friend at work. Together for 14 months now. He knows the whole story. He's seen the spreadsheet. He's met my chosen family. He's never met my parents. They don't know he exists. That used to bother me. Now it just is. Grandpa Bob and I have dinner every Sunday. He's 81 now, still sharp, still fierce in his support. He updated his will 2 years ago, specifically excluded my parents as executors, and split his estate equally among grandchildren, who showed integrity and courage. I cried when he told me that. Aunt Carol and I get coffee twice a month. She apologizes sometimes for not speaking up sooner. I tell her the same thing every time. You spoke up when it mattered. That's what counts. Uncle James's family invites me to holidays. Cousin Michelle and I are closer than we ever were growing up. The 17 relatives who stood by me have become a real family, not perfect, but present. That's all I ever wanted, presence. My parents and I haven't spoken in 3 years. Not since the mediation. Not since the final settlement payment cleared. They tried a few times in the first year. Birthday cards, holiday texts, an email from Mom on the anniversary of my graduation. I'm sorry we missed it. I hope you're doing well. I didn't respond. The apology wasn't real. Sorry we missed it implied an accident. They hadn't missed it. They'd chosen Derek's fake celebration over my real achievement. That's not a mistake. That's a decision. I heard through Cousin Michelle that they told people I'd had a breakdown and fabricated evidence and turned the family against them for attention. The denial was predictable. Expected, even. But it didn't matter. 17 witnesses had verified my story. The documents were real. The video was public. The settlement agreement was signed and notarized. They could deny reality all they wanted. Reality had receipts. Derek's life hasn't improved. He's still at home, 25 years old, still living in his childhood bedroom. He works part-time at a big box retail store, 20 hours a week at $15 an hour. His Instagram is private now, but Michelle tells me he's removed all photos of the Rolex and deleted the graduation gift video. Too little, too late. My parents still enable him, still pay his phone bill and car insurance, still make excuses for why he can't launch. I feel sorry for him sometimes. He never learned to struggle, never learned that failure isn't fatal and success requires effort. They robbed him of that education while robbing me of financial security. We're both victims of their favoritism. Just in different ways. I don't know if he'll ever understand that. The viral video faded eventually. New scandals replaced mine. New family dramas took over TikTok. But occasionally someone recognizes me. Wait, are you the girl from that graduation video? Usually I say no. Sometimes I say yes. When I say yes, they always ask the same question. Do you regret it? The answer is always no. I don't regret documenting the pattern. Don't regret the lawsuit. Don't regret the public confrontation at Derek's party. I regret that it was necessary. I regret that they made choices that led to that moment. I regret the family I lost. But I don't regret demanding accountability. Some people think I went too far. That family business should stay private. That I should have forgiven them and moved on. Those people didn't work 25 hours a week through MIT while their parents spent $67,000 on their sibling, didn't graduate with $89,000 in debt they could have prevented, didn't stand in a parking lot holding a $3.99 card while their brother wore a $9,000 watch. Those people don't get to judge my response to 18 years of being invisible. I've been in therapy for 2 years now. Weekly sessions with Dr. Patel, who specializes in family trauma and financial abuse. She helped me understand that what I experienced has a name: financial abuse within family systems. That it's real, it's documented, it's recognized. She helped me process the grief not just for what my parents did, but for what they could have been if they'd chosen differently. She helped me understand that cutting contact wasn't giving up, it was choosing peace over performance. You tried for 18 years to earn their love, she said once. At some point, you have to accept that the problem wasn't your effort, it was their capacity. That landed hard. My parents didn't fail to love me because I wasn't good enough. They failed because they'd built their identity around fixing Derek and didn't know how to relate to a child who didn't need fixing. That's their loss, not mine. Looking back now, I see the pattern clearly. I see the little girl who worked twice as hard for half the recognition. I see the teenager who believed independence was a virtue, when really it was abandonment rebranded. I see the college student who nearly broke herself trying to prove she deserved the support they'd given her brother without question. I see the graduate standing alone in a parking lot, realizing that no achievement would ever be enough. And I see the woman who finally said, Enough. Who documented 18 years of inequality? Who hired a lawyer? Who stood in front of her family and demanded they see what they'd done? Who chose herself when no one else would? That woman saved me. If you're reading this or listening or watching, or however stories travel now and you see yourself in my experience, I want you to know something. You're not crazy for noticing the pattern. You're not selfish for demanding equity. You're not wrong for choosing yourself. Family is supposed to be safe, supposed to be fair, supposed to celebrate your victories and support your struggles equally. If your family doesn't do that, if they systematically favor one child while neglecting another, if they take your resources while calling it love, that's not your failure. That's theirs. Document everything. Screenshot the texts, save the emails, print the receipts, build the spreadsheet. Not because you're petty, because gaslighting dies in the presence of evidence. Find your Jordan, the friend who says this isn't normal when you need to hear it. Find your Rebecca Hollis, the professional who validates that you're not overreacting. Find your Grandpa Bob, the family member who chooses truth over comfort. And when you're ready, if you're ready, demand accountability. Not everyone will understand. Not everyone will support you. Some people will call you dramatic, vindictive, cruel. Let them. Their comfort is not more important than your truth. 3 years later, I still have the $3.99 card. It's in a drawer in my home office, tucked inside the evidence binder I compiled. I don't look at it often, but I keep it. Not as a reminder of what they did, as a reminder of what I survived. They thought that card said, "Figure it out." I did. I figured out I deserved better. I figured out how to document abuse. I figured out how to build a case. I figured out how to stand in front of 43 people and speak truth they'd ignored for 18 years. I figured out how to win. And now I'm figuring out how to build a life they can't touch. A life with chosen family who show up. With financial stability I earned. With boundaries I enforce. With peace I fought for. That's not the fairy tale ending. There's no reconciliation, no tearful apology, no moment where my parents suddenly understand what they did and everything heals. Real life doesn't work that way. Real life is messy and complicated, and sometimes the people who hurt you never change. But you can. I did. I went from invisible to undeniable. From powerless to protected. From their victim to my own advocate. That's the ending that matters. Last week, I got an email from a stranger. Subject line: "Your story saved me." Inside, a message from a 22-year-old woman whose parents had drained her college fund to pay for her brother's wedding. She'd seen my viral video 3 years ago. She'd just filed her own lawsuit. "I documented everything like you did," she wrote. "I built the spreadsheet. I hired a lawyer. I'm terrified. But I'm doing it. Thank you for showing me it was possible." I cried reading that email. Then I responded, "You're braver than you know. Document everything. Trust your evidence. Choose yourself. You deserve equity. If my story helps one person demand what they deserve, then every hard moment was worth it." The lawsuit, the confrontation, the family split, the viral video, all of it. Because the alternative's staying silent, accepting inequality, pretending it didn't hurt, that would have killed me slowly. This way, I survived. More than survived, I won. This is Achiever Betrayed, where we tell the stories of people who worked twice as hard for half the recognition, who survived family systems designed to make them small, who finally demanded the equity they deserved. If this story resonated with you, you're not alone. Thousands of achievers are betrayed by the families who should have celebrated them, by the parents who favored one child over another, by the systems that punished independence and rewarded dependence. Your story matters. Your pattern is real. Your evidence is valid. Document everything. Demand accountability. Choose yourself. Because you're not being dramatic. You're not overreacting. You're not wrong for noticing that love shouldn't look like receipts proving inequality. You're finally seeing clearly. And once you see it, You can't unsee it. And once you can't unsee it, you have a choice. Stay silent or speak truth. I chose truth. 3 years later, I'd choose it again. This is Achiever Betrayed. Thank you for listening.